Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about my thoughts on Jodie Foster hating on comic book movies. Seriously, who's asking all these older actors and celebrities and directors and stuff about comic book movies? So, Jodie Foster is the newest celeb to hate on comic book movies. Now, to be fair, I'm not exactly like a fan of hers because I've never watched her in anything other than Silence of the Lambs, and she was really good in that. But I've never seen her in anything else. So this isn't gonna be like no hate video or nothing like that. But because some of the things she said in there was interesting, and I agree with her to a certain degree. But she did say something that rubbed me the wrong way. Anyways, she says that comic book movies is a phase that lasted a little bit too long. And you know what? I'm actually surprised this phase in comic book movies, or comic book content, I should say, TV shows as well, has lasted as long as it has. I'm surprised it hasn't fickled out. It's starting to, but they're trying to hold on because Hollywood loves that money. And so, yeah, she says she's gone on to see many different phases and stuff like that, so it's nothing new. But she said, it lasted a little bit longer than it has. She also has stated she does like some comic book movies, Black Panther, Iron Man, and stuff like that. She said they was very entertaining, but they didn't change her life. And so then she goes on to say that this is the part that pissed me off. That she hopes people will be sick and tired of comic book movies and stuff like that. And basically, she wants them to go away and, stuff like that. And I'm just like, when she said that, she hopes people will be sick of them and that they'll go away and they haven't changed her life. Why she had to say that? Now, see, here's the thing. I've said this before when it comes to Martin Scorsese, and that is these older, and I'm stressing the word older, celebrities and stuff, they remind me of these toxic fanboys, these toxic anti-woke people who scream the word woke, talking about the being replaced, crap like that, hating on stuff just to hating on stuff. These elite older celebrities are reminding me of them, but just like not to the extreme level. Basically, I feel like when it comes to these older celebrities, they feel like they're getting pushed out for comic book movies getting pushed in, and people are not necessarily like giving their other projects thought, or their like movies, or hiring them. Now, here's the thing. So it's not like she hates all comic book movies. She just likes the ones that entertain her. But the part where she says it didn't change her life fascinated me. That one movie with Michelle Yeoh where it deals with the multiverse, that changed her life. Here's my thing. I do not go into comic book movies or TV shows to have my life changed. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. I go to be entertained. No movie, no TV show, no anything, not even a song of any kind has ever changed my perspective of who I am as a person. I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? I've known who I am since the day I knew that life existed. To the day I could have my first memory. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am a person who loves Star Trek. I love cheeseburgers. I love pizza and tacos. I love the color blue. I love comic book stuff. And, I love big butts and boobs. That is who I am. And I don't need a comic book movie to change my perspective on that. Why exactly she wants something to change her life is beyond me. But there are people who are like that. Like, take Disney Gargoyles, the cartoon. When I watched that, I was entertained. I loved it. Like it was a great cartoon series. But when I got the DVD and I started watching the extras, people started saying that the show changed their life. It was a moving experience for them because of stuff they was going through in life. They saw themselves as gargoyles and stuff, being the outside outcasts and everything. I'm just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even look at it like that. It didn't do it for me, but it did it for them. And I'm happy for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy that, like, they saw themselves in the show and it helped them cope with life. Maybe perhaps that's where she's going at when she says these comic book movies don't change her life. And so, okay, like, okay, whatever. But, these movies have changed other people's lives. Now, she's currently starring in something, and one of her co-stars was in Captain Marvel, which is she's kind of just pissing on that lady's career. But anyway, these movies have changed celebrity lives. It has introduced people to these stars, and they have become big household names now. Chris Hemsworth is one of those people. When he started off, nobody really knew who he was. He was in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movie in 2009, but he played James T. Kirk's father. And nobody really mentions that because he was a no-name person. Then he joined Marvel about like a year or two later, and the rest is history. When it comes to JJ Star Trek, they wanted to make a fourth movie with Chris in it, but there is a problem. Chris is now a bankable star, and he's worth a whole lot more money than what he was in before he joined the MCU. So Chris will not be in a fourth movie if they ever make that movie. So many people who have joined these comic book movies are millionaires and billionaires now. What is his name? Robert Downey Jr. should be thanking the MCU because he is one of the richest people in Hollywood. Basically, it's like this. He made a string of movies back in the day. Then he screwed his life up with alcohol. After that, nobody wanted to touch him in Hollywood, so he had to go to TV, and that really didn't last long. Then came Iron Man, and he almost didn't get it, but because of Terrence Howard that said, look, man, he made mistakes, but he's my friend, you can trust him. And the rest is history. He is now Tony Stark. He is now, or was, Iron Man. And he's been that way for the past 10 years. He has made so much money that the movies tend to revolve around his character, and Captain America's character. It's even to the point where that man has such a good contract that he's rolling in the money. It's why he has not been resurrected from the dead, because Kevin Feige does not want to pay him all those millions. His contract is basically like this. He gets residuals, sure, from like the Marvel movies that he's in. But if he's in a movie that has the word Avengers in it, oh, he gets a whole lot more cheddar. He gets residuals. He gets merch money. And he gets something else. I forget what, but he gets a good chunk of the percentage of however much that movie made. All if it has the word Avengers in it. So, because, at some point we're going to be having the Avengers movies in the future, he's not going to be a part of them because his character is dead and Kevin is not going to pay him all that money. Needless to say, these movies have moved him. They have changed his life. And you know what? When it comes to Jodie Foster, why does she care if the movie satisfies her and moves her and changes her life? These comic book movies are helping so many people. It's helping writers, directors, producers, stars. It's helping the city in which they film in. Somebody, of course, also because, the state, the city, and the country is making money off of all this. And that has absolutely nothing to do with her. But if it doesn't change her life, she's not happy and stuff. And, it is starting to make me think now when it comes to people like her and Martin and Quentin Tarantino and all these other people. Like, I'm starting to wonder if they're just bitter because these comic book properties aren't asking them to do movies or TV shows and stuff. Because it's kind of like they're big names and they're wondering why nobody's approached them. And, stuff like that. That could be a possibility, I don't know. Because let's look at her resume when it comes to acting. Now, she was killing it from the 1970s all the way to the end of the 1990s and the early 2000s. She was having multiple projects per year, and sometimes she would have 5 projects in 1 year. And in fact, it was multiple times like that where she would have a total of like 5 to 6 projects in a year, a single year. Then in the 2000s, things started to slow down. She started getting older. She probably started picking her projects more thoughtfully, probably, or maybe Hollywood just wasn't banging down her door no more. And from 2004 all the way to 2023, there are gaps between her acting gigs and stuff. Sometimes they're 2 years, sometimes they're 3 and 4 at a max. 4 years without making a project and stuff. So maybe since Hollywood has taken over the whole comic book industry and stuff like that, maybe, just maybe, she's a little bitter and upset because she hasn't been putting anything in. And because of her age, it's not like she's gonna play a superhero. Most likely she's gonna play like a grandmother or an older mother to another younger hero that's more established and an adult. Or maybe the likely chance she'll play a super villain. Because like I said in my other video, Hollywood, when it comes to comic book movies, is ageist. They don't want to hire older people. They want younger stars to bank in and bring in all these younger stars. And when you hear a name like Jodie Foster, ain't no young person gonna know who she is. They ain't gonna know who she is. So they're not gonna bring in somebody like her. And, she has a certain style of movies that she likes and stuff like that, which is fine. But this is what also pisses me off. I have my own style as well. Here is the thing. And I've said it before when I talk about Martin. When I was growing up, I watched a plethora of different things. But one of those things were comic book cartoon shows. I never imagined ever in the span of say like 20 years I would ever see some of these comic book properties be brought to live action. Superman and Batman, yes, and that's for the most part all it was for me growing up. But then something magical happened. I started getting Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four. These were all people who never really had their own live action movies before. And if they were crappy TV movies. And the only time I've ever seen them was cartoons. My eyes lit up because literally my childhood came to life on the big screen with good acting, sometimes costumes, special effects, their origin stories, things I saw in the cartoon. I could not believe it. And it's been that way ever since the 2000s. And like I said before, I don't know how long this phase is going to last, but I'm going to ride that train to the very end. Because once it's gone, then I'm going to have to get nothing more but cartoon comic book content. And even though the cartoons do it better, I prefer to see it in live action. And so I don't want to go back to watching cartoon superheroes. I want to see them living, breathing people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to go back to that crap because it's not fair, you know what I'm saying? Like, we nerdy people deserve our literature being brought to life in every aspect as it is. Now, sadly, not everybody hits a banger. You know, sometimes the costumes don't look cool. Sometimes the origin story's messed up. Sometimes the acting's not great. Sometimes the movie or the TV itself is just utterly crap because they don't always have the budget and they bring in the wrong cooks in to cook in the kitchen. I hope they'll get their act straight because, you know, it sucks not being able to watch something you love. Like, I used to love the Arrowverse when it first started, but after a while, I gave up on it. I went on over and saw what they was doing with Gotham. That first season's okay, but you know, making those prequel shows is really stupid. But they make those prequel shows because they don't have the budget to bring the actual hero in and stuff. So they go back to like the parents or the grandparents or somebody else from the show. Now they're doing supervillain stuff because it's cheaper to make. Like with the Penguin show, they made an Alfred Pennyworth show. Who the heck wants to see a show about Batman's butler? I don't. And I particularly did not like it. But it was cheap to make, and that's why they do it. And so Hollywood is becoming greedy because they know it's bringing in tons of money for all these like CEOs and producers and crap like that and networks. So that's why they keep pushing them out as much as they can, because even they know that it's going to crumble one day and this phase is going to be over. And it really pisses me off that Jodie Foster is all like she can't wait till it ends and hopes people be sick of it. You know, what if somebody would say that about her acting career, which people probably have, and people probably get tired of seeing her on screen, and she would not like that. You know what I'm saying? Look at Martin, man. He likes a certain type of movies and stuff, and he's not seen it. Well, here's the thing, like I said before, they are making those type of movies. They are making those type of TV shows. If people don't want to get their butts off and go to the movie theaters and see them, then that tells you something right there. It ain't those type of movies. It's just because they particularly probably aren't that great. And if people aren't switching on to watch the TV show, then there's probably a reason for that, like Pennyworth. It wasn't a particularly good show, in my opinion. Krypton, while it was okay in the first season, it was odd. It was different. It was a dystopia of Krypton, which is something I've never seen before. Nice action. Nice acting, but it was a bizarre story and stuff, and it needed that fun element to it, you know. That realistic vibe just wasn't doing it because it's a literal superhero type property. And you know, I just think that's really crappy of her talking about like she can't wait till it ends and she hopes people will be sick of it. Could you imagine if somebody said that probably about like sci-fi movies or like family movies or comedy, romance stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, or whatever type of stuff that she likes to make, dramas and everything. Like, could you imagine somebody said, oh, I'm sick and tired of these dramas. I hope people be sick of them so they can stop and everything, just so I can have a job in Hollywood. And it's like, look, man, if Hollywood ain't banging down your Thor Ragnarok. If Hollywood's not banging down your door, then either you need a new agent, or you need to adjust your acting, or you need to find a better project or something. Plain and simple as that, because there are opportunities out there. You just ain't looking hard enough. And, you know, back to like, you know, changing people's lives. Taika Waititi, dude. He said he did those movies for money. He doesn't even like Thor comic books. And you know what? He said he was poor. I ain't got no problem with that. If he was poor and had to do something for the money, why not? But I don't understand how he was poor, because he's made movies before the MCU. So I don't understand that. But hey, he's rolling in the money now, and he's able to make now the kind of movies he wants to make. Tom Holland needs to seriously reconsider what he's hinting towards, because even he's starting to get tired of these Spider-Man movies. He's talking about like, you know, his first three were great. No, they wasn't. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies were great. Those were actual Spider-Man movies. His were just MCU Iron Man Jr. movies. And he said he doesn't really want to come back if the fourth movie isn't more grounded and stuff, or doesn't have nothing to offer. And it's like, dude, Nobody knew who you were before you joined the MCU. You are now Spider-Man. You got your girlfriend because you became Spider-Man because y'all starred in the same movies, and you have a lot to owe the MCU. Now, if there's something going on crazy with Spider-Man 4 that you don't like, I can understand that. They're talking about doing some more multiverse type crap. As long as they don't turn him into Iron Man Jr. again, I am fine with that. But they really don't need to do no more multiverse anything and just do an actual Spider-Man movie. Problem is, fans of the Tom Holland Spider-Man don't want to see that. They just want to see more MCU crap. And, you know, that is a problem that the MCU created and stuff. But like I said, all in all, I do kind of understand where Jodie is coming from and everything, and while I might agree with her to a certain degree on certain aspects, I mostly just think what it is that she's outdated now, just like Martin Scorsese and all these other people. People aren't really talking about their projects the way they talk about these superhero projects, and nobody's really asking them to be a part of it, which you know they would do in a heartbeat for money and stuff. And well, you know, I think having this mob mentality and this hit piece on comic book crap needs to stop. It really does. Like, but right now, I mean, ain't nobody talking about Jodie Foster. She's in that Netflix show, and I don't see nobody talking about her. But the very moment somebody asked her about comic book stuff, now everybody's talking about her and stuff. And see, that right there is good PR for her, because whether you like her or not, people are talking about her. And hopefully that chatter she's probably hoping will get her landed in a bigger role and stuff like that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.